Hello and welcome to Morning Coffee with Maddog Merv. Since we're in the season, I have a new mug. Kind of festive. And, well, the other holiday that I actually celebrate that most people don't. So, let's see what we got going on the channel this week, shall we?
Welcome to Morning Coffee.
Maddog Merv today.
Got our French roast this morning again. I wonder I'm a big fat guy. I mean,
And then
holy
they
cow.
I always had a schmear. A schmear.
He's probably going for bagels. He's trying to steal.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe it.
I have no clue.
And I got a bunch of chores to do. Oh, who wants to do that?
Today's shout out could go to a couple of different folks. But I'm going to give it to Pete's Model Car Customs again. The reason being is Pete just entertains the living daylights out of me. I learn some new techniques on car building by watching him, and he does some outrageous things. File that under just because if it was a real car, just because you can doesn't mean you should. I mean, nobody would ever, make a pickup truck out of a 49 Merc. So doing it in the model world, it actually looks really cool. But Pete is entertaining. I just love listening to him. The way that he expresses the thought process of what he's doing, and just the follow along how he does his builds, and his command of the British language. It's very entertaining, and Pete uses some fun words that either I haven't heard in a long time, or I haven't heard people use in a long time, and it never ceases to amaze me and entertain me. I absolutely love his channel. There's a lot of folks that I try to keep up on them the best I can, but really Pete's is the channel that I spend the most time listening to, just because it always makes me feel good when I listen to Pete. So check him out, Pete's Model Car Customs from jolly old England. Well, I hope you folks like the piece that we did on the Lexington, the repair of my Lexington, that for the longest time, as you've watched these videos of me out here in the doghouse, if you'll notice this shelf right here, okay, there's still some ships on it. They're really hard to see because, of course, they're dark blue or they're dark gray. But this shelf right here, there used to be an aircraft carrier. Well, there was actually two of them. That's where the Lexington and the Hornet resided for, well, ever since I built the ship, pretty much, and put these shelves up. So now that I have the office, I put them in there, and it was a great opportunity to clean them up and finish them up. I had always been, undecided if I wanted to do the waterline or the full hull. Waterline would be great. It would be wonderful in a diorama. With all the ships I've got, you know how many dioramas that is? I mean, I could put together a museum and it would be great. It would be awesome. Unfortunately, I don't have a museum. I have this space that you see here. So, yeah, I decided to make them wall displays, which is still fine. At least now they can, be out, and I can actually look at them and see them. And you'll get to see them too, as I do things in my office. So anyway, that was fun to finally get that finished up to that point. When I say finished to that point, I've got to rig them. There's other things I can do to them, but at least now they're displayable. They aren't a bunch of pieces. So I hope you guys got something out of that. And Billy Hall, that's what I know him as, because being a part of the Western Military History Association, we did a lot of research and work locally on particularly Medal of Honor recipients. And that's how I found out about it. And then a gentleman who lives in my neighborhood, who used to come in the store all the time when I was manager, was telling me about him. And his father was good friends with Billy Hall, and that he was a redheaded guy, and that he claims he lived over on Indiana Avenue, and he kind of gave me the address. Long time ago, I did some research on William Hall, and the addresses had changed in Salt Lake City back in 1972. So the address I have for him kind of closely coincides with where my friend said that he had lived. Never did get to hear, when he left Salt Lake City, anything like that. But apparently he moved to Kansas at some point in time, or Missouri, something like that, at some point in time, and passed away there. Trying to get information on the man it's just about impossible. I did what I could at the time. Unfortunately, my friend, I don't even want to go into that because I'll cry. I really miss Lynn. A great man. Anyway, it helped with some of the insight into William Hall, and some of the work that we did in the Western Military History Association. We were able to find some of these pictures before they wound up online, and some things that we found were not always, but some things we found were mislabeled, like the one that says Japanese airplane over the U.S. destroyers, and in the higher resolution picture that we had access to, you could clearly see it had red and white on that tail. It was a Dauntless, and judging from the time and the attack and the ship that it was and whatnot, 90+% probability that was Billy Hall's plane. So, anyway, fun piece to do for me. Hope you guys got something out of it. So coming up on the channel tomorrow, I'm going to take a little break from the ships, and I started decorating the office for Christmas. It came about because I really thought it'd be kind of nice to have a little tree. I was going to build this little tree and put little model ornaments on it for the hobby shop, for MRS Hobby. When they closed down their Salt Lake location, and it really broke my heart, it was one of those things that, well, great. I was going to, make this tree for them. Their location they're at now, they really don't have room for anything on the counter. So, not going to be able to, do that for them. And I thought, what am I going to do with this tree? I've got an office now. And that coincided with my two daughters, who are currently in a transition mode of where they live. And this year they don't have access to, because it's deep in their storage, their Christmas trees. Their Christmas trees and their ornaments. So I went ahead, because of their limited space, I went ahead and bought them each a 2-foot little Christmas tree, lighted Christmas tree. And I went ahead and got myself one. We'll talk about that on the show tomorrow. And we'll talk about the ornaments and how I did them and why I did them and what I did and all that fun stuff in decorating for the holidays. So hopefully it will help give you folks some ideas and maybe inspiration on something you could do with your office or your man cave, or whatever it is you want to do. But that's tomorrow's show. Today is a special day for me, because being a historian, specifically a Pacific War historian, Pearl Harbor Day comes up this Thursday, and it's a very special day for me. It's something that I will always commemorate and try to pass that on as long as I can. Most Pearl Harbor survivors, there's only a few of them left. There's like one guy from the Arizona left. I don't think anyone from the Utah's left. Anyway, this Thursday, instead of a kit hoarder stash, I'm going to put up a special show about another one of the ships that that I've built in the past, and that I'm currently doing some refurbishing work and getting it on a shelf in the office, and that is the USS Vestal. Figure that's very appropriate for Pearl Harbor Day this week. So what about the stash? Well, good news for the month of December. After this Thursday, we will be having every Thursday in December a kit hoarder stash. I recently came across a bunch of models that were fairly inexpensive, let's put it that way. They were a great buy, in other words. And so we're going to take a look at them. And one that I'm really excited about that's been re-released. And you can see behind me here, Granny's hot rod. So I'm pretty excited about that one. But we'll start reviewing those next week on the 14th. So we'll have a stash on the 14th, 21st, and 28th. So there you go. Anyway, it's the most busiest time of the year. It is insanely busy. Trying to get everything done, and with Christmas, shopping and wrapping and everything else, it really is a crazy time. So I'm going to let you folks go, get off to whatever it is you need to do, because like I said, I know it's the craziest time of the year. And we will see you tomorrow with the office, the real cool stuff that we're doing in the office. And then we'll see you Thursday for our special Pearl Harbor edition of Maddog Merv's Holidays. I don't know what you want to call it, but we'll talk about the Vestal on Thursday. So take care, folks.